Hi everyone, MLP here, and it's Saturday morning scares time. So I am in a different layout because my room is under construction, as usual. We tend to do a lot of construction in my room, but basically I wanted to start doing some more Saturday morning scares because it's been so long. I'm trying to get back to it, at least doing 5 Foot with Touch class and the Saturday morning scares gameplays. Don't know what's going on there yet, but I've been roommates with my mom, and because my room is under construction, so I've been roommates in here, and I've been sleeping on the floor in the corner. So yeah, that's fun. JK, just kidding. But I have been like sleeping in the living room some nights, sleeping in here some nights. She said I could use her room to film some Saturday morning scares because she knows they don't take as long to film. So I'm gonna go ahead, and today we are reacting / theorizing the My Little Pony infection analog horror, and I will link the channel down below. I'm not gonna try and say this name because I'm gonna butcher the name, but this is one I found just scrolling through the internet trying to find out what analog horrors to bring to you guys. This was one of a few that I found that I was like, oh, this will be good to check out. There's only 3 videos so far, so that's why this is a shorter episode. As more come out to make a long enough video, I will start reacting to them because this one is very good, actually. At the time of this recording, this video is only 5 days old.
Guidance tape. Today, we will take a look at the symptoms of swamp fever, along with the step-by-step infection prevention plan to keep you and your loved ones safe during this pandemic. Let's begin, shall we? Unlike the common cold, or even a nasty flu, swamp fever is an extremely fatal infection that can be spread fairly easily if every pony doesn't take the necessary precautions. While it is called a fever, swamp fever is not just that. While a fever will be the starting process of the first stage of the infection, following symptoms will include headaches, chills, fatigue, coughing, and body aches. The first stage is no different from a flu,
so it's 2019 all over again.
The second stage will only amplify the infection. As stage 2 begins to develop, you will start noticing blotches of discolored skin along your body,
okay,
along
not
with an
like
amplified
2019.
cough. As the cough continues, you may notice phlegm and blood bubbling up. This will continue with stage 2, along with the following symptoms such as violent sneezing, increased heart rate, restlessness, delirium, along with signs of anemia and emaciation. Before we get into stage 3, let's discuss what happens to the body during stage 4, the final stage of swamp fever. Let's meet Cherry Dew. Cherry was out playing near the swamp with all of her friends. But little did Cherry know, the lily pads near the swamp carried a spore pod that found its way towards Cherry. After the lily pad spreads its spores, a parasite found its way inside of Cherry, infecting her with swamp fever. Here is Cherry before the infection. And here is Cherry after the final stage of the infection.
I have not seen this part yet. Oh! Oh! Patient 0 infection. Oh, that was disgusting. She was an only child. She was only a child. The final stage of swamp fever. We'll see.
The skin will harden and resemble bark found on a tree, though limbs can still remain flexible and mobile. Past the skin, the body retains all vital organs, although bones are dissolved within the body, leaving only behind muscle, organs, nerves, and veins.
I don't know why, but I have such a...
also start developing their own sporopods.
This part I have not seen. I saw only little bits and pieces. I've not seen this. This is disgusting.
Spores from a final stage infected are incredibly contagious, and contact should be kept at a minimum. Those ponies within the final stage are extremely hostile towards non-infected ponies and will attack if approached. Their strength is heavily amplified, though their speed is slower than its counterpart, the Stage 3 infected. Taking a look at the discolored spots from Stage 2, we can compare them to Stage 3, as the pony's flesh will begin to rot at an accelerated speed. Along with the rot, the infected pony will begin being hostile towards others and will act aggressively. Unlike the first and second stages, the third stage can spread the infection through its own means. A bite, scratch, or even transfer of blood will cause infection. So make sure to wash
This
your
is based on that
hands
news
after
feed of
dealing with your
the zombie
infected
deer,
friend.
isn't it?
The parasite within the Stage 3 infected will manipulate the brain in order to keep it well fed, forcing the host to seek out meat in a delirious, aggressive, and feral manner. That means a pony infected at this stage will either consume itself, or it will consume other ponies. Their hunger cannot be satisfied, and they will attack if given the chance. Though, unlike your favorite zombie movie, they do keep their brains. They keep their memories. And they will use that against you. They will plead. They will scream. Do not let them in. They are not alive. They are not your friends. They are not your family. Put them out of their misery.
There is no prevention. All of my friends are dead. Misery. She promised a cure. Who's she? Who's she? She lied. They took my daughter away. They ran tests. Okay, who's my? They mutilated her. They can still hear her. I can still hear her scream. E. To hell with Equestria. I'm sorry for this. But if you're watching this, there is still time for you. I left the gates open. Escape here. Show them what they did to my little... They're gonna give us one last jump scare before we go on to the next one. Okay, this is our second one. Second video. I don't know if I want to be this close to the screen, but here we are. Applause.
Welcome to the second set of tapes to help you through the swamp fever pandemic. Today, we will be looking at prevention steps to help you through these troubling times and how you can conquer the infection. Let's begin. First, let's take a look at some terminology used by our leading scientists to help with our approach to the infection. The parasite. While the folks at the Equestria Research Department titled it Dolorfolia, the parasite has been given the more common name, the Oakland parasite. The Oakland parasite starts off as a microscopic organism and lives within the spores of the lily pads found around swamps. The Oakland parasite will begin to grow at a rapid pace once it discovers a warm home to settle into. That is why we can find the sporopods located within humid swamps. The early stages of the Oakland parasite are easy to avoid. Taking steps like washing hooves, showering, and most importantly, keeping your mouth covered are great precautions to make sure the infection not only stays at bay, but helps stop the spread of the infection at the source. Upon the first and
This is like
second
an ugly
stages,
twist
if
on
a pony is
2019.
infected, they must be quarantined, as they easily carry the infection. Physical contact must be avoided at all costs, but if an accident does happen, please follow the previous steps. The third stage infected is a lot harder to treat when it comes to keeping the infection down. The hostile nature of the infected ponies will mean trouble for disinfecting the surrounding areas. Sometimes, the best case is to deep clean as much as you can to make sure the spores and parasites do not find a humid place to stay and grow. Red mold, also known as Rufus plaga, has slowly become a concern for researchers, so you might need to look at more extreme measures of cleaning. Now, let's take a look at steps of preparation when it comes to dealing with someone who is infected. Whether it's a quarantine pony nearby or someone on the street who shows heavy signs of infections, it's not too late to learn the important steps to keeping yourself out of harm's way. If you see signs of the early stages of infection, remember to stay several feet apart and keep your face mask
6 to
on
8
at
feet
all
apart. Yeah,
times,
this is 2019
as
all
even
over
just the
again.
slightest cough or sneeze could transfer the parasite over to other ponies. If you suspect a pony is infected and out in the public, remain calm and let your local authority know they have not been quarantined. A stage 3 infected will be easier to spot, but spotting them will usually cause issues. Their amplified speed and strength can easily overpower an average-sized pony. Keeping your distance is not enough. The best course of action is to get somewhere safe and keep the infected away from you. While feral, they still retain their ability to speak and will use the memories of the host to try and gain your trust. They will do anything to try and get close to you. Remember the symptoms and keep your eyes peeled for anything that might seem a bit suspicious. One of the common ways to tell if a pony is a stage 3 infected is the way that a pony will speak. If you notice any anomalies in their speech, then remain cautious. A look of malicious intent will also be quite noticeable. If you find yourself in a predicament that requires you to take action, please remember the following. You must destroy the parasite that is nestled in the brain. While you might be tempted to look towards decapitation, the parasite will still live inside the brain, causing the separated part of the host to reconnect with the mutilated body. Destroying the brain entirely has been reported to be the most effective way to stop an attack. Smashing, crushing, or even complete destruction of the head by other means are very effective.
Now back to black screen. This is like terrifying, like the sounds, and this is the screaming. Good lord! I want subtitles as to what's going on here exactly. It sounds like something's eating something.
Just remember to keep their blood away from any openings of your body, such as mouth, ears, eyes, nose, or any possible open wounds you might have. Prevention against a stage 4 infected starts at the most simple step. Stay away from places that contain spore pods. Stage 4 infected, while hostile and stronger than the stage 3 infected, remain deeper within humid areas. Swamps, forests, and even underground tunnels have been noted to contain stage 4 infected. If exploring these areas, each pony must be prepped for the worst case scenario. Water, medicine, bandages, disinfectant, companions, and any weaponry must be acquired to protect our civilians from a worst case scenario situation. If encountering a 4-stage infected, remember the following steps.
Flee.
Unlike stage 3, this stage is a lot slower and can easily be outrun. Take the proper steps to make sure that you and any pony are not left behind, and flee from the area as fast as possible. Do not try to run in a zigzag pattern, as it will only close the distance between you and the stage 4 infected. If you are blocked and are unable to flee, the next best step is to find a place that is out of sight from the infected. While the infected's eyesight is weakened after transformation, they can still see clearly enough to know when there is a figure in the open. Try to blend in with your surroundings and stay in the dark to make sure it doesn't spot you.
Fight.
Unlike the third stage, this stage is heavily resilient. There are still a lot that scientists are doing to research possible weaknesses within this stage. The most effective, though most dangerous, is fire, due to their bark-like textured skin. This could
Dude,
cause
y'all, this
issues
is,
when
they
it
just
comes
showed
to
Twilight
trying to
Sparkle,
flee
like,
or
that's my
hide.
childhood.
If all else fails,
Actually,
and you find
growing
yourself
up, I
infected
loved
by a stage
My
4
Little Pony.
infected, then your only course of action is to end the misery. Stop the infection at the source. Destroy your brain by any means. Do not let the parasite win.
Okay, that was a scary ending. Okay, we have one more video called Swamp Fever Interview My Little Pony Infection. Oh, Dr. Twilight. Art. Okay. Must give credits to all those who helped. Okay, last one. The interview. This came out yesterday, guys, so this is the latest one. It's from yesterday.
Please state your name, position, and where you work.
Twilight Sparkle. I'm the head researcher of the science department at the Equestria Research Department.
Could you state the date for me? Month and day.
July 24th.
Good. First things first. How have you been holding up? I know that the attack yesterday must have been scary.
Well, it was. It's the 4th time the gates were left open, right?
That is correct. Could you tell me about the research you've been leading with your team? How's progress been?
Progress has been slow. The attacks alone have delayed our experiments. Not to mention the swamps are all under lockdown until further notice. Things have just been stressful.
Could you tell me what you're researching?
A cure for swamp fever. Hopefully an end to all of this.
It can't be easy. Especially with Celestia's time crunches.
It's definitely been difficult, but I have hope that we'll make some progress. Patient Zero is most likely our best bet. It's been very agitated recently, most likely due to the attacks at the base. It's almost like it knew they were coming.
Possible connections to hive mind activity?
Not enough evidence to prove it, but something to keep an eye out on.
Any possibility we know the cause of it, minus the spores?
Not entirely. All we know is that Patient Zero had first contact with the parasite. It's a shame we weren't able to get it earlier.
I heard the reports. I think that's enough of our interview for today. I'll let you get back to work. Same time next week for an update?
Of course.
Ooh.
Thank you.
So does that mean we're going to video next week? Okay, must let them have their credit, show what they've done. Okay. So the fact that it says same time next week, I'm assuming we're getting another interview video next week to continue on this story, which that gets me pretty excited. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. This feels like it's just mimicking a zombie story. Like they're getting creative with doing like a My Little Pony zombie story, which don't get me wrong, I love it. Like they took my childhood and made it scary and terrifying. So like I love that. I like it whenever people get kind of creative and take stuff from our childhood. So like obviously these are people from my generation and like put a scary twist on everything to what today's generation likes. So yeah, I definitely want to come back and watch some more of this. But again, it feels so much like 2019 all over again into 2020. I keep saying 2019 because that's when it all started, but it was 2020 when everything happened. But it just feels like it's that mixed with a zombie story. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please do. Remember, as always, I am Emma Chu. But for now, peace out, everyone. Slime!